formidable on Fracture. They hadn't dropped a single Fracture game. Not many teams had gotten above 5 rounds on the Nation before the matchup against Mad Lions, or as they were formerly known during that time, Dark Ratio. So this is a strong map for Mad Lions. It's not the best of maps for Disguise. I think starting on the attack, knowing the calling structure of Steel, this one is going to be exciting. It's going to start slow. It's going to get heavy. It's going to get weird. And here we are in the pistol round.
Already starts with quite a bit of a hold back over towards A. This could put quite the dent in this attack for Disguise. You see 2 players playing the Lurk right now.
Fascinate in. Clear will take a lot of space here. They're going to try for an A lobby crunch already.
I love this crunch. It's going to work out perfectly. Will is all the way out in the open. Same thing with Drone, but the 2 players, they're just taking their sweet, sweet time, waiting for the 3 players from site to push out instead. Zip, Gangsta, both getting fragged, but it's only Ainge! Ainge with a crossfire! He gets 2 headshots! Might he get a 3rd kill? I mean, he's just waiting for the cross, but he has the spike. This is beautiful from Ainge.
Gangsta on just 10 HP. He will have a fault line in at least 10 seconds, so there's a realm of possibility where he could maybe stun both these players. I mean, they're both kind of in line in front of this spike. He does have the opportunity to grab it as well, but I think a periodic checking here from Ainge is going to make things extremely difficult. Gangsta has 35 seconds left, so there is time for him to rotate it if he did want to. I don't know if the sound cue was picked up there, but I imagine they're just going to play together here, Mad Lions.
Yeah, it's just a contact here from the KJ. They have a turret here too. Again, 10 HP. You could play this as slow as you want, Mad Lions. It's just 1 bullet to the body. Just need the contact, but Gangsta, he's doing his best to isolate. That's all he wants right now. He wants a couple headshots. He wants the lucky pixel. And almost finds Ainge, but Ainge instead finds him through the wall with a headshot. 4 huge kills from Ainge to give Mad Lions the first.
It's a great start for Mad Lions. I mean, this is your map pick. Get the ball rolling, kind of feel out this map, because again, both these teams most likely have made changes coming into this week. Not maybe compositionally as we're seeing, but definitely probably when it comes to refining the really small issues, we're going to see a lot of things, like I'd imagine, get kind of fixed up. Specifically speaking of that Disguise lineup where you were talking about it earlier, a lot of minuscule mistakes on that map of Ascent against the guard. What are we going to see any of those here? Because, again, emphasis on this series is that you lose, you're 0-2. We're going to keep reiterating that statement. So there's a lot to play for not just these players and this week, but just for the whole split in general. And we're talking as well further into 2023, where you're looking at circuit points at 1. So a lot at stake for these teams. And between 2 teams, Gus, that I think are some of the best right now in terms of the open qualifier lineup.
Absolutely. Here we go, actually, in the middle of A. It's just going to be Clear doing his own thing.
Big kill.
Oh, my goodness gracious. It was Gangsta coming up from behind, but you had the good pinch. That's going to be the stuff that we were actually quite anticipating from Mad Lions last week, but we didn't exactly see Clear get let off that leash. If anything, Disguised, they were all playing up quite up as a team. If anything, it was Steel being the entry, which was quite the difference. But Clear, he's been let go a bit. You see the double satchel at the beginning of the round, but now Mad Lions, of course, they're facing up against Stingers. They have Spectres. They're looking for the retake. Gangsta does get the trade back. Lots of space here for DSG, but they do not have the middle of sight. Finally, Exalt getting a frag. So much utility. These 2 players in the middle can't do anything. It's rifles. It's Spectres for Mad Lions. And then a single one of them can get anything. DSG pull it back.
We're in such a heavy, like, second round full buy meta, especially for these attacking teams. And Disguise play this one extremely well. It's not the slow tumble that we're used to when it comes to Steel's calling structure, but that round, that post lane in particular, Steel sets himself up for that Brim Molly, denies the spike defusal, and that gives time for 2 players to wrap out towards Sands. And when you're already at a man disadvantage, things just become so difficult because you have to split the attention, who's watching what. And that communication, I mean, we talked about chemistry between teams. I don't think it was there in that instance for Mad Lions to instantly split up their attention.
There.
And now we see where DSG did it best last week. Playing up as a team, it's that slow scale up. On Fracture, you could easily get some early map control, but they opt to stay on their spawn. But this is good for Mad Lions. Completely mitigating any sort of instant pressure that they could get. They're just playing for contact, and they're just playing for rotation.
They have almost gotten the stack right here, but this guy's kind of, I mean, they're going to very confidently walk into this site, and so Clear already tagged down to 29
Great
HP.
nade.
Again, we're looking at that head-to-head between Clear and Will. Clear being one of the big players in the last round. And it does actually kick off here with a single kill. That is a Phantom in the hands now of Will, who is at full HP, has a decent bit of util, but Clear is going to have to deal with 4 of these players. Again, a guy that we talked about. You got to watch out for this man. We'll see what he can do here.
29 HP! And Clear could have gotten so much more. But this again, DSG just chipping down the defense as they rotate. 4 players down in the spawn, 1 player isolated in spawn.
That's also 2 rifles picked up here now by Mad Lions. And Will still has a double blast pack and a boom bot to get in. Drone not yet with the stun. Oh, very well timed Molly though here. And
they're gonna wait
for
that
the follow-up
Molly.
is gonna be that fault line.
Okay, stun coming in. Gangsta can't make it out. Again, suppressed, but Steel around the corner. He might get found out by the boom bot. They got to clear that out. Steel! The off angle works out perfectly for him. He lets Gangsta do all the work, taking all the peaks, but he gets this cheeky second frag. The crossfire on site was also pretty good too, but 2-1 DSG.
Now we're gonna have these rifles out here between Mad Lions and Disguised. A reach ult available here for Gangsta. Steel's gonna have the Brim ultimate as well. Same thing here with Ainge on the other side. It just takes 1 orb for Steel to get onto the orbital strike. So some major ultimates coming to the forefront of this round
Already.
And this round is a lot more heavy on Mad Lions, especially economically, because the loss here is going to give Disguise a lot of momentum. And it looks like already Disguise playing a little bit more heavy. Tower control might be established. Gangsta can go under tunnel with the Rolling Thunder. A lot of possibilities here towards this B approach, especially with the ultimates they have online.
Yeah, Mad Lions delaying too. They have double nanoswarms on stairs. They're really just going to hold on for time for their teammates to be able to rotate. But there's a trip in their spawn too. Mad Lions, they're not finding anything back over towards Dish. They're not even pushing back towards that tripwire. DSG are waiting for anything tricky.
They are playing a pretty heavy retake here, Mad Lions. Having only just Zexro be the guy sitting on the B side. Oh, that's a risky peek from Exalted. That gives up a lot of information there towards Mad Lions. In Disguise, they haven't done too much in terms of space taking. They're going to have the Clear and Steel work up to get a lurk pick, but it goes back and forth, and now Mad Lions have regrouped in a 4-on-3.
I mean, yeah, you say that. 2 players dry peek out of spawn right into B. Clear getting yet another frag in the Rolling Thunders to confirm sight. I mean, that was literally just 2 people dry swinging out of B.
Trying to bait out this orbital strike.
30 seconds left.
They're holding it for a retake, not even to the night. The spike lands, and Gangsta is just going to barely get out of it. We're playing with 2 orbital strikes. Steel's got his for the post plan, and he is in a good position to use it as well.
If they can find that Brim's position, they might be able to isolate. They actually utilize the orbital strike to clear out tower. Amazing spray from Gangsta. How does Gangsta stay alive there at all? Will now in a 1v2 behind orbital strike. Has Clear in a 1v1. Has the showstopper in front of him too if Clear wants to use it. Will also has one if he kills him, but Clear kills him instead.
A great
Again,
round.
Disguised. I mean, you can't really explain it other than, I mean, Disguised, they had the battles they wanted.
Forcing them all the way back into spawn. I don't know if that was the initial plan, but using that ultimate, that Rolling Thunder straight in towards Defender spawn will give them so much time and so much space, and Clear just abusing the gaps and capitalizing on space, right? I mean, this round was a really big trade between Clear and Steel, right? Steel goes down, Clear's there to trade. He then capitalizes on space, giving up, recognizing the threat towards north side. And Eco here, and it is going to be Will who tries to get aggressive. The knife, I think, cancels out his ultimate. It actually might have been broken here, but Clear up top anyways. It's going to be good to find Zexro.
And they're waiting a second one too. Good smart hold. Now Mad Lions, again, down to pistols, down to stingers. Just gonna see Disguise. Again, just try to work on the long term. Try to build up their economy.
They're taking it very cautiously. If Trick can get a single kill here, he will have the null command in the next round. Drone is guaranteed to have that Rolling Thunder, so we're in the middle ground where ultimates do end up becoming an important factor in a half like this. And Disguise, a team that hadn't won a single map of Fracture, they come into this with a really strong game plan. And that slow style really working in their favor. They're able to manipulate rotations like we saw in that last run. Like, as I was talking, Clear kind of just capitalizing on a lot of space that Mad Lions had given up. So this next round for Mad Lions is going to be with those rifles, and it's a question. I don't think they don't get the trick ultimate online. They don't have the null command, but they will have that rolling thunder. It's how do they implement those ultimates moving forward, and the economy built up for Disguise. Similar stature for Mad Lions. They're gonna, except for it's vice versa, they're gonna need to win this round because their economy is just not prevalent whatsoever. And yeah, Trick actually does get the ultimate.
Yeah, so they should
Placing sentry.
be going for one big take here. I mean, just with the fact that they do see the ultis in front of them. I mean, they can easily bait out. They can easily bait out these ultis.
Fast. Hold on. It looks really fast here towards the top side because you
Is
already
it
have
going to be fast?
You have a quick play in position. Will's up top with a showstopper. He can play that if he wants. And yeah, they're looking to establish this really early control, and it's just gonna be Ziff.
Yep, Ziff is gone. It's just going to be the one kill, though. They see that now. Drone has gotten the information. You have Nanostorm alongside the alarm bot in sight. The delay could happen here for Zexro. Everyone's coming back over towards Arcade, back over towards Tower. Zexro has time. Zexro is playing with space. Here we go. Could be a crossfire. The Tower player's here, but doesn't pull at the showstopper and steal instead with a double frag. Mad Lions, they still have guns. They still have position back over towards Arcade, but DSG very cleanly into sight.
And Clear has gotten into spawn as well. That null command popped at the exact moment they hear the showstopper get pulled. And that's a free pick. Because Will is going to get caught in midair. Maybe, I think Will made a mystery there to pop that ultimate in this instance. And from that 4v5, Disguise have done a really good job of recovering this round. And here is where they specialize. They slow things down. And they're just going to cause fear in Mad Lions.
I think you see the intention, though. Drone's so close. He wants to use that Rolling Thunder to be able to take out that Spike Planner. And that's what they're doing. They're faking for the Rolling Thunder. They're faking for any turns of util, but they're still going to be able to plant. Drone distracted, and they use the Rolling Thunder to retake Tower instead. Exalt is the only one that gets hit. You have a crossfire in the middle of sight. Gangsta has the angle. Exalt is now back. 2 players remaining now. One of them is finally rotating from spawn. Trick comes in on time. Has Exalt in a 1v1 right around the corner. No! Steel comes out of the smoke. What a peek from Steel. 1v2 from Ange, and he's gone. Saved from Steel.
And I think Disguise in this round had just the better knowledge of how to play around these ultimates. Right? Like you said, trying to bait out that Rolling Thunder, using that null command to cancel out Will's showstopper, and even when in that 4v5 disadvantage, they still understand the game plan. It's okay, we gotta watch out for these ultimates, we have to be prepared for this kind of play, and they had players in position. Right? You look at the way they had that B postman, players were really far spread out to avoid that Rolling Thunder. And that resets Mad Lions here. And they're going to try very similar to what we saw, where they're going to have a stun over towards A main. Fast play here towards B to get this control. But there is no one here. Will with the hero rifle. And Disguise, they've gone towards the north side to play their default instead.
Might only catch one. It didn't catch anything.
No,
Steel didn't get
all.
caught. And with that, you get the rotation back over towards A. I mean, again, DSG. You're awaiting this slower playstyle. It didn't exactly know if on Fracture they were going to maybe change things up, take Clear off the raise, maybe onto maybe an agent that they could take more space with. But so far, they're just letting Mad Lions pretty much waltz into them. They let time go by. They let Mad Lions get into their own heads, get into different positions. Now by the end of this round, it could just be clean once again.
Zexro does get his KJ ultimate, the lockdown online for round number 8, but this has been Disguised all over in this map, to be honest. At least in this first half, things are starting to peel away for a team that, going into this was their map pick for Mad Lions, and it's a map that they very infrequently drop. An 80% map win rate between when they were Dark Ratio and now when they're Mad Lions. So we knew this map was a confident one. We knew this one was going to be a strong map for them. But it has not been that way so far. I think the way Disguised are playing, it is an extremely difficult style to play against, especially on a map like Fracture, where 4 different choke points, and with the kind of slowness of Disguise, it becomes unpredictable where they're going to go. And you saw in that last round, Mad Lions tried to pinch that south side of the map instead of north. Because of the fact they had already done the north side pinch, Disguise, with their slow style, you group up, you play the 5-man, especially in eco rounds like that, where they're infamous for doing that. You can't dismantle that kind of play because you're always going to walk into 2 or 3 players.
I mean, Dark Ratio, the success that they found on Fracture was just through that attack. Literally, I think the exact same way that we saw DSG play attack last week on Ascent, we saw Mad Lions play attack on this map. They let Zexro just go wild. They let Zexro go wild on attack.
Yeah.
Everyone else just stayed structure, and they relied on that a lot. They can't do that this time. No one can go out on their own.
It's a really different setup here for Mad Lions. They put Ainge up in Heaven Tower on the B site with a shotgun and just KG util to play with. And they're going to put Zexro in a spot by himself. They're playing a retake here towards this A side. But they have a Rolling Thunder as well to work with. A lot of ultimates coming into this round. DSG are actually putting some acceleration into this hit.
Yeah, absolutely. Just the one person on site, though, taking on the Rolling Thunder. The smokes are off. The orbital strike is good. Clears away, clear. Nobody else can get into the middle of sight. It ends up taking away one. Here we go again. Exil's coming out of main. There's still one more player coming out of there. It's incredible to me that Clear is still alive. 30 HP left, and finally he goes away. This retake is fully in there for Mad Lions. They have to cover up this lockdown, though. Gangsta trying to get a spray down. 3 seconds left. Couldn't get the kills, but Ziff is in on site. A 2v1.
Oh my gosh.
Headshot. What a shot from Ziff.
Orbital
Has
strike.
an orbital strike to deal with. 40 seconds left. Ainge is in spawn, waiting for a contact. Ziff, there's no way he's getting closer. Ziff walking into the mouth of the beast. It's the Mad Lions instead that take it away.
And in a much faster round from Disguise. A much faster round. Trick goes huge with a double from Tower, by the way. His positioning to catch the players on dish to find those 2 players as well, that gives Mad Lions kind of a resurgence in that round. They can play the retake with their ults, they can play the retake, and they can play the post plan as well with Ainge's orbital strike. Mad Lions able to knock on a second round, at least keeping their economy afloat, but unfortunately, with only one player walking away from that round, they are still economically struggling. And Disguise, once more, are doing a very similar approach, this time on the B side. Another fast look in towards B.
And they see the economy too. This is another opportunity to actually reset Mad Lions. TSG needs this round. 2 players currently holding up on site. But this is way slower from DSG.
He walks forward. Ainge gets forward instead, but Clear. They had that read. You tell to clear out just in case.
I mean, this has to be the push in now. Nobody flanking. They're going to have that Brim up soon. Ziff is just trying to clear up for Zexro, but again, no smokes up just yet.
This is so crazy. Yeah, no smokes, and they're not even committed to sight. Steel was hoping that someone would push down A, but no one does. Now the smokes are coming out, and Ziff just catching Trick out in the open.
Look at the amount of control they have right up until the point they get the smokes up. Finally, they take sight with full tower control, full stairs control. It's only 2 players remaining here, but this is the Disguise that we wanted to see. This is the play calling that we wanted to see. An investor flawless for Disguised.
It's start fast and then slow things down, which is what Disguise are always good at. And we're not seeing those very apparent mistakes where there's no trade, no one's swinging together. This seems to be a well-oiled machine. Everyone's positioning makes sense. All the util they're throwing makes sense. And Mad Lions are having an incredibly hard time combating that kind of play style. Another eco for them here. They're going to try and set Will up for another north side crunch. This time he's going to come from Dish. And similar to how Disguise counted the last crunch, they're just going to play towards the bottom part of the map where nobody is.
It's this, for the last 3 hard anti-ecos, or at least ones where Mad Lions had pistols, Disguise have just stayed towards one side of the map. Just wait. Just wait. And it's working out now where Mad Lions have 4 players crunching up the top side. They hear the TP, or the tripwire, excuse me.
Yeah, and they will know that that's going to be there at least was an attempt at a crunch towards the north side, so they're going to accelerate, take the site control. I don't think there's much here to write for Mad Lions. They only have a single Stinger and a Sheriff.
Yep, should just be trying to farm ult points or just trying to die at the very end. I mean, both have the exact same objective. DSG almost doing the exact same thing. That's why some of these players are hunting Ziff. He had 3 ult points left, and he gets all 3 of them in one fell swoop. Ultimate going into the next round, an investor flawless.
Back to back.
Okay, Disguise. This map could be over, but just this next round.
That's really scary to think. Again, Mad Lions, this is your map pick. And this is probably one of your last full buys. Next round is, well, you're obviously going to force up next round, but this is the
Yeah,
last
he's gonna use Spectres, right?
full rifle round you're going to have here. Spectres and probably Stingers. So a loss here puts probably Disguise in a position to go 10-2. They're going fast here into the B site. No question about that. Maybe they ramp things up, get a pick, slow things down like they usually do, but they will send Clear very far out. He has been so instrumental in these rounds, getting deep into spawn every single time here on B. And they have switched up the setup here for Mad Lions. It's Zextro instead in tower, and Trick to try and deal with that pressure from Clear.
Yeah, and Trick. He has one ult point left. He gets a kill here. He could use that ulti to try
Big
to
pick.
hold this down. And indeed, he gets the frag. He is suppressed. He has to wait a little bit until he can actually utilize this ultimate. This is very, very good for Disguise still. They're in on sight. And Ziff, the lurker, does get the kill onto Zextra. 4v4 now.
You have an orbital strike here and a null command to play the retake. And they are again trying to ban out all this util. First comes the aftershock, and Trick, still good for a second, has his null command as well. This gets tricky here for Disguise.
And the knife still going out. Trick, no, not. He actually utilized the ultimate right before he goes down. Good timing. But Ziff, good spot. They're actually pushing that smoke even more.
Trying to
3
fight the
players from
orbital
Mad Lions, and they're just stuck in their spawn. Again, no plant though. They have time. They're chilling for now. 35 seconds left, and they do not check their flank. Huge kills coming in. Mad Lions go down to 1v3 now. Low HP. Drone has a little bit of a chance, but he has the wide swing out of the orbital strike. What an ulti from Steel, and an even better round from the rest of DSG.
Such a well-played round from Disguise. Again, these like late round adaptations, I think, are where Disguise truly, truly shine. Is the way they're able to stay calm and composed. And losing 2 players, by the way, to Trick in a 4v3 again, they still decide, okay, we're not able to be out this orbital strike, let's put pressure. Steel gets up close. Clear's initial plan from his entry was to get close. And Mad Lions not able to deal with it. Last round of this half, and all they've really got is one single Vandal. This round becomes incredibly difficult, and this has been Disguised all over this first half.
Yeah, and I mean, you see the setup on A. They're trying really anything to give themselves a boost in this round. If Will gets any sort of contact, he can instantly use that showstopper. And DSG completely evading that sort of setup. Slow once again. The lack of information always leaves DSG at this sort of pace. It's methodical.
Mad Lions are scared to take that now. Alarmbot's going to reveal that this is a focus towards Arcade. 2 players still are going to work that part of Tree, but Clear's going to go in first. The showstopper does get the kill. Oh, no, it's not that. It gets the kill. It's instead the nade. Good trades coming through, and Will's going to have to try and act quick.
Yep, Will! The 2 players right in front of him. And
That's
Ziff comes out of the
ridiculous.
smoke to take him down. Good peek from Ziff. It's pretty much over now, right? 1v4?
This has just been a ridiculous first
Spike
half from
planted.
Disguise. Like, I can call and say Clear has probably been the key player in this first half, but man, it has just been
Everyone.
systematic
Switching
from
sides.
Disguise. They are taking Mad Lions to another level of fracture, and it's not one that Mad Lions have ever experienced before. 10-2 in the first half is a devastating scoreline. Regardless if you want to look at the minute map statistics of what side is better for Mad Lions, it doesn't matter. 10-2 is still devastating, and they go 50-50 most of the time in their first and second halves.
Yeah, I was more intrigued on how the retakes would go down for DSG, but when your defense is this good, when your shift around the attack is that good, always leaving the attack just enough space for you, or excuse me, leaving the defense enough space to then be able to capitalize. I mean, it's just good stuff from Disguised. Mad Lions now, though, on the attacking side, need to win 11 rounds in a row, or 10. Take it to overtime.
One suppressed.
Bastard play here from Disguise in towards A main. And a slow creep up here from Mad Lions over towards B. This attacking side holds a lot of promise.
Flash.
A 10-2 is a difficult scoreline to come back from. And so Mad Lions accelerating now in towards the B site. The tripwire might actually not a kill, and it does. 2 big frags already from Disguise.
Yeah, it's going to be 3 people on site and no coverage from the spawn clear. Exalt coming out, 3 players coming out, and it's Steel with a double. I mean, there you go. You needed that if you're Mad Lions for a chance in the second half, and DSG have just swept the rug away.
Yeah, there was hope. I mean, they're much better on their attacking side against the Nation. They won 9 rounds out of the 11 played on their attacking side. That was in the second half. So Mad Lions are a team that is pretty good at making attacking halves work. But I think given that scoreline and given what we have now, it's almost impossible to see them coming back through this. 5 Stingers is what they're going to be working with. And there are already 4 players here on the A site. Are they just going to try and barrel it in? Because there's a stun, there's a nade, there's a molly, there's a smoke ready for this guy to contest A main.
Dude, how are there 4 people on this side of the map completely calling them out? Here we go, though. Knife alongside the fault line to try to clear out this corner. And it might just work. Nobody else is clearing. The trades could come in for Mad Lions. Again, keyword could.
Holy.
But instead, it's DSG. 3 players with the crossfire. 4 players, excuse me, in the middle of main. No chance. Zexro. I could try it, whatever. DSG. Already thinking about that next map. Again, Fracture. A rare map for these 2 teams, but for the fact that Disguise have never won this map, I mean, this is a decent change.
And we're again seeing your critique of, or Steel's critique of, it just felt like we weren't together. We didn't have the right, you know, we weren't trading properly.
It was Steel's critique.
Felt a little uncoordinated, and it does not feel uncoordinated here. This feels like a Disguise that is on another level right now against Mad Lions. One last full buy and another attempt at an A hit where there's once again, I feel like I'm watching the same round as what we just watched. Like, it's deja vu. Same knife goes out, the same contest, the same slow start. This time it's gonna be a stun.
It's the same fault line, the same knife, and this time the same satchel doesn't actually miss its mark. There goes Will taking down Steel. Zexro coming out of Dish. Again, the exact same position. Exile does get the trade, but this is way better. 2 players going down. And now a big chance in a 3v4. Potentially Mad Lions might have sight.
Ooh, the spray from Exalt. I don't know if it was his spray that caught Will, but it did damage. No flash. I mean, you're up 12-2. I would have the confidence to take this kind of swing.
Oh, yeah, Will is there. What a spray down from Gangsta. Right through the wall, but again, low HP for Will. 2 players remaining. Ange has a molly to work with, but it's his teammates are currently in main. No molly under Trick either. Ange really just has to hold on to his sight. It's all in his lonesome. He does have a crossfire. He's waiting up for that cross. Zip. Okay, that's a perfect cage. Isolates the battle against Ange. The 2v2 now as Ange goes down. The crossfire is down. Okay, Cage goes down. Gangsta waiting for the 1v2. Can just defuse down to half. But the Cypher, no way! No way, Gangsta! Finishes off the map with a bang!
And in 2v1 fashion, Gangsta is going to pull out map number 1 there for Disguise. I mean, I think even if, and that's a big if, they had won that map there, or that, apologies, not that map, that round, I don't know how the rest of this series would go. Would we have seen a comeback? I seriously doubt it. Disguise from top to bottom in this first map played exceptionally well, and there were no questions about, or there were questions, I have to say, but there were none after this one. Okay, are there mistakes going to be made? No mistakes here on Fracture. They can keep this up. I think Disguise here, we were hoping this was going to be a gigabanger, but the way it's shaping up, it looks like it's only going one way.
For now, absolutely. I mean, Pearl coming up next. It's Disguise's pick, and after that we have Ascent, where they have a 90% win rate. The future is looking not so bad for Disguised, but again, Mad Lions, they faced this sort of adversity last week. The maps where they ended up losing, they ended up putting up double digits, and we just didn't see that in this map. We need to see that form come back, and Mad Lions, again, for the future of this tournament, they need this win because they face the 2 best teams in their group for the next 2 weeks. So let's see what happens after the break again with map number 2.
The funniest on the team. I don't know. We have a lot of characters. You know, we have a lot of funny people. I think it's pretty close. I think for my personal taste, I think I'd go with Baby Bay. I think Baby Bay probably. Yeah. Superman very underrated. Superman he's a sleeper pick. That is a sleeper funny guy that I don't think many people knew, but I didn't know about. Like, he's not didn't have that perception like from talking around from other pro players. So I would say Superman's my sleeper pick. He's a close number 2.
I mean, the funniest person on my team has to be his new name. I mean, his old name is Dapper. New name, the Guru. It's on you right now. He's the best gaslighter in the world.
Oh, no thought needed. The funniest member of my team is 100% Adam Mata. 100%. Not even close. Yep. He's a comedian. He's killing it. He's killing it in the streaming. He's a comedian on Twitch.
Honestly, I gotta give it to John. Like, John is just, like, naturally funny. Like, the way he reacts sometimes in our scrims, and then just, like, gives, like, these weird, like, replies to, like, stuff that we, like, mess up on. Like, it's too funny. I gotta give it to him.
I don't know, maybe Verno with his dry humor and sarcasm. It'll just get it.
Who's the funniest on my team? Yeah, this is deadly. It has to be this kid. It has to be Trent. He's like unintentionally just like very stupid. So like he just does funny stuff all the time, like on accident. So it has to be him.
Funniest. I think we're all like actually really funny. Like that's not even like a bias, like you know, like on their teammate kind of thing. It's just like actually true. Like it's a bunch of funny guys. But I'd say like I have my hardest laughs with B-Dog probably.
The funniest on my team, I'd probably say, dude, everyone is so funny. I'm not gonna lie. Probably like Tex or, yeah, I'd probably say Tex is pretty funny. Yeah, he's dry humor, and like our personalities like match a lot. So whenever he thinks of something, I think the same thing. It's just so funny.
Yo, check it out. Want to know if the price of those Wave Runners is too good to be true? Or if I Wear My Kicks 49 is truly selling dead stocks? Or if that Jordan 1 Royal Box is original? eBay checks. See that little blue check mark? Behind it is a team of independent authenticators who check. And we mean everything. Every tongue, check. Every toe box, check. Every corner of every box, check, 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 check. Every logo, every label, every lace loop. Yeah, it's checked. The luster of the leather, the topography on the tags, to the straightness of the stitching on the sole. Everything you can see, and even some things you can't.
Really?
Then they tag them, log them in the system, box them up, and ship them out, with no cost for the buyer or seller. eBay checks, so the moment you open that box is as real gets.
An absolutely brutal first map as it's a 13-2 finish. Ouch. Welcome back to the Knights Arena Valorant Challengers North America desk. I am kind of at a loss of words here, Sully, because we were talking about this. This should be a close series. This should be pretty good. But no, Disguise just comes out swinging. 13-2, they crushed Mad Lions. It wasn't even close.
No, they got the exact same treatment that they dished out to TSM
Exactly.
on that first map. So, you know, let me think about this. Let me like put my tinfoil hat on. It's actually going to be a 2-1 in favor of Mad Lions based on what happened last week. No, the thing is that TSM had spoken. They said that was our warm-up map. We didn't warm up before. That's why we got destroyed. No, Mad Lions just got ganked. Like there was no opportunity for them at all in this map. Like. It was so it was not painful to watch, but it was rotch.
We need to clarify that you were talking about that specific word before the game, before we came to the desk, and you were asking for definition, and I'm still not convinced you used it correctly, but go for it.
Well, okay. The context we said was they got flanked, and that was probably one of the key things. I'm gonna work it back into this definition. Ganked to me means they got flanked, got stabbed in the back. That's kind of what happened, right? I felt multiple times in this map there were a lot of gaps for Mad Lions, and I am gonna say Fracture I feel is a hard map to defend. I think especially with a style like Disguise, it was very apparent though that the way Clear was playing, the way Steel was, there were multiple times where they would slip through gaps and get 1 or 2 kills on the flank. I think most recognizably was during that res situation where I can't remember who slipped through, but they were trying to res, I think it was Trick who was down on the K ultimate, and out of nowhere, 2 players go down from one person that just slipped through spawn.
I mean, one of the things that I think is incredibly interesting when you look at the stats, normally I'm not like Mr. Oh, everyone had a rough game. No one pushing it. But no one from Mad Lions was double digits. Not a single player. They struggled to break that number. ACS sub 200 for everybody. I would love to see like what the ADR was even for the top rated player, because it was also probably pretty low. Drone, who at one point in time was a promising young player, you might remember him from the OG TSM roster. I've known Drone for years, and like to see him put up a 3-15 score is disappointing. But at the same point in time, you have to look at the map score to be like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. They were just getting bodied collectively. It's not one player struggling. It was everybody. The game plan they brought to the table was objectively bad. This is just brutal, Upmind.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, we had players who, you had multiple moments for multi-frags, right? Especially players like Zexro, who were playing Anchor, who had util in front of them to play as a trap, and they could never get a solid opportunity at a frag. I mean, if anything, Zexro is getting pushed back into tower, pushed back into his spawn before they even have an opportunity to use their util, before anyone is even in the stairs. I mean, again, it just looked like everything that did to get on site was proactive in just keeping Mad Lions away, or never even giving them a chance at that contact.
You know, I think it was more so that there was just a really big disconnect between those players on B side. If you want to talk about Zexro, I'm also going to talk about Trick and Ainge at times when they were playing. It was just a heavy disconnect. There was one guy in spawn and one guy completely isolated tower. I don't even think that they were put in positions to frag, and if you want them to frag, it's 1v like 3 on the entry, and that was something Disguise abused multiple times on that B site. So I just felt for Mad Lions on their side, it was a really big disconnect between these players. It didn't look like any of the mistakes that were made between that second and third map were fixed up, and one thing you have to note is Will was just not apparent at all, and we had that graphic of Will when he wins, Will when he loses. Well, that map was when Will loses.
One of the things we do need to take into consideration is it's not over. It's a best of 3, so there's still another map. There's still an opportunity here, and we'll take a look at the map pool again just so you guys get a refresher. It is important to note, though, this was Mad Lions' pick. It's one thing to lose your pick. That actually has happened a lot already throughout Challengers. We've seen a lot of pick swapping. But to lose it 13-2 is a completely different storyline. And further, bouncing back into your opponent's map pick after a Team 2 loss, that is super, super hard, Sully. I'm a little bit discouraged right now. You still said 3 maps because you want to follow the storyline of, oh, they had the big upset win in the first map. Now we're going to see the 2-1. I'm just not convinced that a comeback is going to happen here, because it looks like whatever problems Disguised last week have been rectified.
No, I really think that any whatever Steel was saying, none of that was apparent in that last time. But I think Pearl has been traditionally a really good map for Disguise. In the open qualifiers, they absolutely destroyed Auction. Like, not dismantled them, but definitely kind of did what they did on Fracture, which was manipulate rotations. And I think Pearl is a map that Disguise play really well, because they put a lot of emphasis on that mid position at times, and that mid position helps manipulate that map so much. I mean, mid on Pearl is very, very crucial. In Disguise, they put a lot of emphasis on that. They will have a player lurking out towards B. So I just feel that this second map of Pearl, a map they have never lost so far for Disguise, it's rough to see a world where Mad Lions, based on the performance, and I think honestly just individually, where they can come back and compete at that level against a team like Disguise, who are on fire given that first map.
Upmind, let's be fair though, storyline-wise, we've talked about it since week 1. Teams coming out, upset loss in map 1, or maybe a map pick goes your opponent's way. We've seen that a lot. So there is still a chance that this could be their map. Like, we don't want to paint it so grimly, but it does seem difficult. I'm trying to find hope here for Mad Lions because it does feel like the chips are kind of stacked against them.
Yeah, a little bit. I'll just give some broad statistical hope against Shopify, of course, a team that we saw is kind of mortal to this type of team. Just yesterday, they actually ended up taking them the distance. Still was a loss, but it was 13-11 on Pearl. But also, we haven't seen Pearl be played from this team in almost 3 months. So legitimately, I just have no expectations. I mean, if there's ever a map that Mad Lions can just surprise us and just be good on, it's going to be a map that they've kept in their back pocket. But to me, at least, this just has to go down the way of Disguise, purely because they themselves have been very dominant on this map.
It's also important to note, Disguise put up a good amount of rounds in their first match against the Guard. Now, I know that you're going to look at it and be like, well, they still lost. It was like 13-9, 13-5, if I'm not mistaken. They lost 2-0, sure. There is potentially a world where that is one of the best performances against the Guard all season long outside of M80. Because when you look at the groups, the way it stacks up, that team should just stomp the group stages. And they did yesterday. We saw what that team is capable of when matched against one of the qualifier teams. So I think, Sully, we do have to say, to be certainly fair to Disguise, their performance in week 1 may have been a loss, but it may have been better than it appeared just based on how strong the Guard is. But I am told that Agent Select is ready. It is time to jump into map 2. Mad Lions desperately looking for a rebound, but it's Disguise who's coming in for the alley-oop. Take it away.
You know, I love the way that Mark put it there. It's like they looked bad because they were playing against someone that was just so
They were
good.
just good.
Right, that's how I feel when I play my ranked games. It's like some days I'll be really good, but that's probably because I'm playing against people that are a lot worse than me. Maybe that's the situation for Disguise. They just looked bad because they were playing against probably the best team. And so that last map, I mean, whatever mistakes, maybe Guard broke them down fundamentally. Maybe they actually did take that week off with Ocean and Steel to kind of fix things up. And from the interviews that we know, from the way that Steel likes to call from his past teams, they always come back the next week strong. You learn more from a loss. And now here on Pearl, the second map, again, stakes are high here. One team goes 0-2, the other goes 1-1. And when you're 0-2, it is going to be a rough time to try and regroup and make a run for playoffs, Gus.
Yeah, I mean, let's try to break this down real quick because, again, Mad Lions are making their Pearl debut in quite a bit of time, and it looks like they've changed up their composition quite a bit. Playing up with a Fade on this map, I feel like is a lot more efficient than the Sky that they were playing. You still get the Prowlers, but I feel like just the information hold, replacing that with the Silva instead is better. Zextro playing back on the KJ, also a better pick on this map. I think the last time we even saw them on this map, I think it was the Chamber meta, so whatever. You see Mad Lions, most of their players on very comfortable positions, except for Ainge, who's playing Astra for the first time in a long time. But again, Fracture, it can get chaotic. I'm ready to see some fireworks.
And it will be Disguise starting here on the pistol round. An early knife comes out to try and catch that B play, but it doesn't actually catch anyone. And I think having this double controller adds just another layer to this attacking side of Disguise, because you can set up fakes towards A, you can then revert back towards B and still have enough stars to make that play, and it is going to be a slow walk-up. You still have Ziff watching the flank as per usual, and he's been good in a lot of these one-on-one duels, but it's Disguise who have made no noise and are starting to ramp it up, and they've gotten right onto the B site.
I mean, trying to get the plant down, but Exo doesn't care. Exo still goes for the wide swing, and there goes Trick instantly getting traded. 4v3 now. Mad Lions needs to make a big rotation.
They're going to fight for this mid-link area. They had Ziff as well working. They wanted to make sure they couldn't get flanked, wanted to win that mid-link fight.
Good point.
And in a 3-on-4, Wall is down, and Will has been good to find one. We needed him to light up, and here's a start.
Again, they fought for that link. They know that there could just be control there, and here comes Ziff. Ziff with the first contact, but you still have Steel. Steel has the first contact, but doesn't get the kill. Still has Drone, gets the frag, but the Frenzy around the corner to overwhelm. Good instant reaction from Will. If Will gives Steel a little bit more time there, he takes on a 1v2 instead. Mad Lions, much better start than last map.
What a haunt from Drone as well to give the cue for Ainge to take the swing and win that fight. Very well played retake here. But a lot of credit to the Zagzag. I think Disguise did a lot of good things here, but gave themselves up to these Will 1-on-1s where he finds a 3K to make that retake happen. He was someone that went 5-15 in that first map. You know you need Will to heat up, and you know that, again, when Will wins, or when Mad Lions wins, it's always a key player like Will. When he doesn't perform, they will lose the map, so watch out for this guy and what he can do.
It's this type of map where he just has to do more. He's going to be very much mobile. His util, get some decent early information, but again, it's an explosive agent. Doesn't get the first contact. Doesn't call any sort of shift back over from A either. Instead, it's just that full control of mid with not a single piece of information from Mad Lions. Finally, the alarm bot goes down and hauls, but you see the slow style from Disguise once again. You usually see this from their full buys, on their anti-ecos, excuse me, but this time on their own eco, they're just taking things corner by corner, trying to overwhelm instead.
Trick, who has been playing pretty well, especially last week. I think it went like plus 12, I want to say, throughout that series. I don't remember what exactly it was, but looked good against TSM and looked pretty good as well in that last map. Was one of the direct counters to when Clear was trying to take those big entries, and now Clear moved on to the Viper, which isn't something that we highlighted too much on. It's that kind of a really big role swap for a double controller
left.
setup that Disguise has gone for, and so it has worked very well in the past for Disguise. This round, I don't think much is going to come to fruition, as you can see already, Trick picking up that Vandal, but for now, Mad Lions
Spike planted.
coasting for the time being to a 2-0 start, keeping, I was going to say 4 players alive, but at least 2 of these rifles moving forward, hopefully, and that will put them in a pretty good economic position going into round number 3, where Disguise get their full buy on the board as well.
Maybe some more. They're playing Crossfire again with no contact in sight. They have no chance to actually take away the spike. So actually, they take away 3 guns. Not too bad. They're going to be able to pick up one of the Bulldogs back, but okay, moving on. It's going to be Mad Lions. Again, we have to see how they even structure up their defense. They're playing up with the Duelist. How aggressive are we going to see Will?
It's a very costly round, though, for Mad Lions, and I don't think this is a round where you're going to try and... Oh, maybe you are. You actually are forcing all the way back into this. A very interesting buy here for Mad Lions. And I wonder if it's a mentality of let's keep the momentum. If we lose with the lesser guns, yes, it's going to hurt because we lose a round, but it's also going to hurt our morale. So I wonder if maybe that's the call here, as they're putting a little bit more pressure towards B off of that pistol round. You can see there's a peek, there's a knife, and they're instead playing a lot more passive here towards B-Link. So we're going to see Disguise manipulate this mid position, break that turret, and then we'll see what they do afterwards.
Yeah, and that knife is so deep. They're going to get all of this control.
Clear comes here anyway,
right
though.
up for free. It's going to be that 1v1 battle with Will. Exalt wins it out. Everyone else from Mad Lions back up into their sights. Oh no, Clear, like you said, alongside the spike. But it was Trick all the way on the open. I thought it was going to be the free frag.
A lot of mid space open up here by Disguise. Both these Mad Lions players have grouped up back in towards a main. Trick wanted another. Zexro not in a position there to trade. That concedes the B site almost entirely. Zexro was very good in the open qualifiers, and we need him to come alive again. Exif there for 1. In Disguise, they thought that he was going to have a double there, but he only gets 1, so a 2-1-3 in this retake, and it's entirely doable here for Mad Lions.
Absolutely, Zexro still waiting though. Whoa, they faked the plan instead. Steel's trying to find a gap. Kill does go on to Zexro though. Ainge trying to stop this. 1v3, 22 seconds left. Gangsta's low! And Ainge doesn't get the frag. Disguised. These were, it's that type of round that we were questioning last week. I mean, the inability to commit.
It's not really the inability to commit. I think it's just they expected a little bit more from Ziff here, right? You can already see, oh, he gets 1? Yeah, he should have gotten 2, but he doesn't actually.
I think they faked plant like 3 or 4 times, though.
It's not even that. I think it's more so that the way Disguise play, and I think maybe you're reading this a little bit differently from me, is that Disguise, when they tap that spike, and it's not in an uncommitment. I mean, you're already on the site. You know you're committing to the site. It's that spike tap is to draw out util and draw out players, which we've seen it do multiple times on Fracture. They drew out ultimates, they drew out peaks, they allowed as well for them to get aggressive in towards spawn. We haven't seen that just yet on Pearl, and I think the way this guys have played, it makes it incredibly hard for Mad Lions to get a good read. That slow tempo means that a rotate alert could happen at any time. You have to play split up, and stacks don't really work against this team.
Fighting for mid-map control purely for information is so risky. You have to use so much utility to do that, and it's the same thing with A and B. Mad Lions.
Nightfall is going to get used here, it looks like. And the Cosmic Divide to guarantee this round. There's not a lot behind this round for Mad Lions, yet still Disguise give that respect.
Doesn't look like they even expected the half buy. Looks like the cash was fine for Mad Lions, but they just stick to around that 3K. Excuse me, 2K instead. 45 seconds. Plant will finally go down. No one's going to push out of that Cosmic.
A lot of spray
Lions are just
going
gonna
on
wait
here.
out. Yeah,
It's
such
much-
a weird waiting game. They're just waiting out this utility.
It's the
Drone and
backside
Age.
activity mainly. And they're hoping for that flank from
Finally.
Zexo, which actually
Yep.
gets nothing from it, so that should dismantle this retake here for Mad Lions.
And the stars are gone too. They have to push out onto site. They have to watch this 1v3 essentially. Ziff gonna be able to get the crossfire. Clear is now here. It was a 1v3 for Gangsta, but now it's a 4v1 instead.
Second round cleanup there from Disguise. Ziff now only one off of his lockdown. That will be Mad Lions with the full buyback. So there's a null command in play alongside that showstopper. And I'm curious to see if there's going to be an attempt to fight mid a little bit heavier. Last couple rounds have just been a turret towards B-Link and then a very passive hold towards Art. So they are fighting a little bit heavier here. An alarm bot here dropped towards Link. A bigger fight as well between both Will and Trick to look for this mid control.
Bring them down.
Ganks is going to try and counter back here with a single Prowler. Does force one player back, but yeah, you can see Mad Lions trying to adjust, taking a lot of mid control this time around.
And all Ziff is going to do here is play contact and just keep these players here. Try to fight these three players. Might peek on.
There's
Allow
one
time for
peeking on
DSG.
B. There's no one peeking on B for Mad Lions, so they don't know that this walk-up has happened, and it's gonna happen again. Exalt has got the ult as well to counter out Will's showstopper, and Zexo just has no idea they slipped all the way into B halls already.
It's just unfortunate, but again, they were more or less playing for that retake. It was only Zextro here.
Blocking vision.
Here we go now. It's going to be a full 5v5. We're looking at guns here. They're clearing out mid so slowly now. We've seen already so many
They
lurks from
backed out
DSG.
so fast. There's no knife here from Exalt to cancel out this showstopper, but time is being bought here from Disguise. Exalt the only man in sight, contesting with the flash.
Zexo just goes right on through, and he's cutting down the defense. But Mad Lions instead, they do take one back with a showstopper. Clear still at the top. 3 players, 2 players at the top of mid, top of long, excuse me. Clear does have the angle, but Drone gets him instead.
Are you kidding
and
me?
That's the ultimate frag. Steel was waiting the entire time to take out the player on Spike. Let everyone else contact instead. And Drone just can't get it done.
And it was again extremely similar to what I was talking about on the map of Fracture. It feels like the Skies have got an incredibly good feel for how these ultimates are coming into these rounds. And this one was really well played. Again, you have at least one player contesting the site, being a nuisance, even when that showstopper comes out. And I think Exalt's goal there is, you know, he gets a kill, which is nice, but also to distract and draw the showstopper, that ultimate, into a different position. Well played from Disguise in that post plan. Now they're stacking 4 players, apologies, towards the safe side. And Mad Lions, they're trying to adjust, but they're just, they're not with the times right now. There's no one towards mid for the second time in a row.
And instead, for their troubles, they get a lockdown in their face. The best thing they can do now is potentially take back A control, but it's just not going to happen. They have to back out towards their spawn. DSG, again, just looking for another clean round. It's not like their economy is fully out of the way.
Bring them down.
But it's yet another round where 5 players stay alive here for Mad Lions, trying to make this retake happen.
They are fighting so heavily here, Disguise. This is something that they did on Fracture, something they did in the last round, something they're doing here again. And I can think you can almost guaranteedly see the control that Disguise and the kind of the flow of the game right now that's going through them. This is a Disguise that is beating out any mistakes they had against the guard. Again, as I think Mark posed the question better. Was it that they played poorly? Was it just a team that played way, way above their level? And I think it could go either way, but what we're seeing here is a Disguise that we didn't see against the guard, and Mad Lions have called a timeout. 2 rounds picked up to the 4 of Disguise. Remember, this is an 0-2 game here, an 0-2 map for Mad Lions if they don't win. and to battle from O2 to have to go against still M80 and the guard, it is tough for Mad Lions to be in an O2 position and to try and recover for playoffs.
I mean, Steel also said that it was mainly growing pains. I mean, it was a culmination. It was a compounding effect of course, the team being new, but of course, them facing for the first time a team of the level of the guard.
They don't do that too often.
Mad Lions. They faced this tier just a few weeks ago.
It was a big test for them as well because Steel hasn't been in the VCT. It wasn't in the VCT circuit.
It's been a minute,
right? It was Gangsta, Exalt, and Zip that had that experience. Clear was completely new to that kind of level of Valorant and that level of a team. So, yeah, I'm not gonna chalk it up to growing pains, as I said earlier. I think the chemistry should have been there from the get-go, but not this time around. Another approach here and 4 ultimates for Mad Lions. The lockdown from Zexro, and you can see an emphasis to lockdown art here as well. Mad Lions are playing a little bit more aggressive this time. They tried to switch it up. They went mid 2 rounds in a row, didn't get anything. This time they pushed B long, and now they've got a firm grasp on this round, it looks like.
Right there.
At least have a decent idea of what they're doing. There's nobody over towards B, but the rotation back to A is just not happening. They shock. However, the offer in terms of Steel, Gangsta does get the trade back. It's going to be Trick now in a 1v2, almost a 1v4. He does have a teammate crossfiring back over towards short, but now Trick has to stay alive. 10 HP left. Zexro has the cross in short, and the rotation is coming in. Great time delay here for Mad Lions.
Really watch out for that art lurk. A popped ult in here from Trick to try and slow down the exec even further to give time for Drone to build up and Gangsta.
There you go.
A big shot, and that is an unresable position. Ziff, I don't know if he's in the range. He's not. He's not in the range, so Drone has been able to slip on through.
Oh, in the lock. You're kidding me? The alarm bell goes up right behind him, right as he walks by. The timing is insane.
30 seconds left.
Unfortunate for DSG. Now they're stuck on A. They do have Spike, though. They need to clear out Will. They've cleared short. They've made their way past short.
You just don't know where Drone is at this time. And it's up to Clear to win this fight. He does.
Whoa!
Oh my goodness, he wins that fight in spectacular fashion. And now they know where that hunt came from. They should know where both these players are. 4 seconds left, and they can play the post, but that lockdown doesn't actually reach the depths of dugout.
Not at all. They can look directly at Spike. They're on the edge of the lockdown. It wasn't enough. Look at this jump. Zexro does find Gangsta. It was almost so cheeky for him. But now Clear. 1v2. Playing in the back line. Gonna be able to find the first. The swing from Drone. It needed to be a bullet to the head to make it work, but instead, Drone takes it back.
A really nice pickup there from Mad Lions and a nice change of pace. I think the B aggression really does work there. It gives you a lot of space and a lot of time to think on. Timeout does net them a singular round, but can they replicate it here in the next? Still a lot of questions as to how all these players are performing individually off of that first map. Still early days here on Pearl, but that was a big change-up, and I think one that definitely worked out a lot better. Now what's the switch up here again? You lose 4 players. They actually have nothing. This is an eco round technically for Mad Lions.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an eco. You could call it a half because they're just down to the same amount of money, but DSG, again, it might be the same situation that we saw a few rounds ago. They face a loss, but they just don't know if their opponents have guns or not. So they're just going to put every piece of util possible, just a regular exec. 2 players are going to be here on B.
I
but
love that
Ziff is going to face 2 of his own back over on A.
Yeah, this is what that smoke kind of does on B long that these guys are throwing. It's drawing out aggression. Granted, they lose the aggression. Ult's going to get popped here as well. 2 ultimates getting popped out here as well. They know a rifle's been picked up.
What? Exalt runs right towards him, and it's going to be the free frag for Trick. Clear's trying to find a shot with a shotgun, too, and he's going to keep the Viper's orb, Viper's pit open.
Oh my, Zexro!
Zexro gets right in the face of Clear. It's still going to be the kill back for Exalt, but you have one in heaven. Hasn't showed himself yet, but does go down. Ange has been slowly rotating this entire time through mid and is finally going to make his appearance. Still has a Cosmic Divide. Still could cover up the spike if he wants to with some utility, but still, grab Will on top. Steel does pull. There goes the haunt. The defuse has to go in now. It has to be a full ninja defuse. They have to miss their bullets, but it's not going to happen.
The respect from the skies to pop 2 ultimates. But what a contestable round from Mad Lions. It's Trick that goes down, and then Zexro with a nasty flick onto clear. Yeah, you'll see it here on this replay in a second. The way that Zexro was able to remove this one player, even with lesser guns, I think this is a very well played round coming out from the side of Mad Lions. But still, Disguise, they walk away with it in the end. I wonder what their economy is going to look like here as well, because both teams are kind of in a very hot spot economically. Yeah, both teams definitely are. The team that loses is going to get reset, and it's going to be Disguise and a 5-man approach towards the A site.
Instantly, a lot of util on the front line. Grabwell to try to clear out anyone trying to make that first contact, anyone trying to push up A main. This is just everyone from DSG here. Grabwell is going to be utilized. Here comes finally the push. Exalt's going to be able to get the first. No one else from Mad Lions is here.
An empty site, but they do get one pick as they go into the site. And Clear was watching earlier for the B long push. They're reading into these kind of flanks that Mad Lions are going for. A big trade and a 4-on-4, but this is what Disguise do all the time. They could be an A main. They could be already in Flowers. They could be in Spawn. So many angles to clear.
Cosmic Divide is going to go up in main, but that position doesn't even matter. Everyone's in the back. Steel in the front line with a double, and he pulls out the shotgun and make it a third. Steel going to go for 4, but it doesn't matter. The rest of DSG is still up good.
Yeah, that's a great play again from Disguise. Reading, I don't know if it's a direct read. Maybe it's a call from Steel to say, hey, they have a Cosmic Divide. Let's push in a spawn because we know where that ult's going to go. Another well-played round from Disguise, avoiding that Cosmic Divide. Playing very close corners where you kind of have an advantage if you're the player holding the angle. That's what Steel had on those 3 kills. Mad Lions get reset once more, and Disguise continue to pull away. Similar to what we saw in the first map, they're pulling away here again in the second.
It's so much work now. So much second guessing that Mad Lions has to do. And in these rounds, no progress can be made. It's just pistols, it's just random pushes that your team can do, unless you stack all 4 or 5 on a single site. Last week, DSG did not have a very good grasp of map control, map flow, rotations. This time, however, they're directly playing against it.
Another really slow walk-up. And that first pick is kind of scaring Ziff into holding this position. He lost it as well before, so you have to be cautious of these Mad Lions that are now starting to put pressure on these flanks. Even with these lesser guns, it's still a threat. Spike goes down, a little bit of damage on the Gangsta. Ziff has worked his way up and towards B-Link. Here's the player coming in to connect their spawn. But there's kills going the back way of Mad Lions. This has come down to a 2v3. Oh my god!
What a flick! Has a third eye! Flicks right behind him! There's no chance that Trick has this 1v2! Exalt, you legend!
That was unreal from Exalt. And when things started to get scary, a crazy flick comes out from Exalt. One, he heard the sheriff shot, and Zexro's just out in the open mid-reload. A misplay from Zexro for sure, but what a swing from Exalt after he hears the sheriff shot. Rifles are back in the hands of Mad Lions. They have a lockdown to play with here, and they're putting pressure towards B-Link to play that lockdown. No one towards A-Main. A massive switch up and a big mid-duel.
Yeah, it's gonna be 3 players trying to go into mid, and DSG for the first time has a lot of players here too. There goes the util, there goes the nade, but Exalt's not being found by any of it. Again, Halls has 2 players there though. This hold is so strong for Mad Lions.
They surely saw Will's head as well, and they should know, and they're trying to fight it, but it's not winning. They're not winning any of these duels towards mid. And for the first time, Mad Lions have got a massive man advantage.
Yeah, through early contacts at that. I mean, we've seen retakes from Mad Lions. We've seen late round wins, but finally, finding the gap, predicting what your opponents are going to do has given them a round. Here comes the rifles trying to come out of Halls, but it's going to be a 3-man crossfire here.
What a work in.
It's done.
That was beautiful from Mad Lions.
Wow.
Doesn't swing, pulls the grab well, and then the rest of it, his team comes to the rescue. One towards that link spawn, one from the B link. And Mad Lions have made this a much more competitive half. A much more competitive half. Granted, it does feel you know, the way this game has gone, Disguise are still in control. It's still a very close first half, and there's a lot more to be played here. But Mad Lions, they've made this one competitive. And for the last round, it's not the full buy Disguise one, and they're even going to sit on attack timeout, Gus.
Okay. Finally, the first timeout for Disguised. I mean, neither one of the two teams needed a timeout in the first map purely because Mad Lions, they were already well gone by the time they even thought about it. But this might just be uncharted territory very soon for DSG. Again, not dropping more than 4 rounds on any one map of Fracture. Again, quite the impressive stat. But DSG going on to their defensive side. The defensive side where they haven't faced any top tier 2 team fully. They haven't tested this defense.
And a team that, you know, Gus, has thrived on the attack as well. 9-3 half against Oxygen. 11-1 against the infamous Team Fish Taco. So it's not the worst of halves here for Mad Lions. And to force Disguise to go into a timeout as well kind of shows that the adaptations are working here. And this is Disguise. For the first time taking that timeout, it's okay. Look at the ultimates. How they've been very good at manipulating ultimates and playing around the concept of them. How do they do it here? You have the null command that we've seen Exalt use to shut down Will. As Will takes an aggressive peek out towards A main, it's a focus back in towards mid.
Oh, Exalt immediately pulls out his ultimate, grab Will right in front of him. But again, with the nade up, neither one of these 3 players trying to rotate are going to be able to do anything. A beast play coming in, only one person in the back line, the lockdown being used too. This is going to be a full retake from Mad Lions.
And I like this. They're leaving Zip here towards B-Link so that lockdown doesn't get popped in towards B-Link. And they can play this post with the way they want to. You get this spike down. This is very similar to what we saw when, in that like 3rd round where they're playing towards long and they're just playing the post plan.
They have a nade and a showstopper to stop this too, but here comes Will. Excuse me, Will. Oh my goodness. Will not going to be able to find anything because of the knife. There goes Zextro. Does take the frag back. Ainge needs to get this done. Zip finally comes out of mid, but it's just too late. How does Clear get into that position? Clear had it in B.
We have plenty of time.
Such a heavy duel between both those sides. Mad Lions getting aggressive this time in the post plant, ensuring Disguise can't play the long post plants. This half is a lot closer than a lot of people might have imagined given that first map scoreline. Mad Lions are still in this series and they're not out of it just yet. It might not be their map pick, but that doesn't mean they can't win it. We've seen a lot of maps being traded back and forth between teams, so it wouldn't be a surprise here. But for now, Disguise, I don't think they've dropped off in form whatsoever. It's just Mad Lions have finally stepped up. And in this second half, they have to do it again. They haven't played Pearl too many times. They haven't won it too many times. But when you're in a 0-2 situation off of this map loss in this Challenger split league, that's when you really got to come and put your A game forward.
Again, we don't know how this attack side of Mad Lions plays, but again, with the Raze, you can expect it to be a little bit more entertaining, a little bit more explosive. But Disguised, they get all of that A main control. 3 players push up, and they have the info.
And Mad Lions are going to try to retake this space as well. I think working towards an A split by the looks of things.
Okay.
Disguise have a pretty good read here as well. You know, now for Zip is contesting towards B-Link. Granted, there's a contest. The spike isn't going that way, and a big fight out towards mid. As Steel gets one, Zip will fall. But that will open up the A site, and now Disguise are kind of chasing these players to try and make the retake happen.
And they were looking for a lot more too. Very, very cheeky from Drone and Trick to be pretty much back in their spawn. DSG. They're going to be coming from 3 different angles. How do they even opt to play this? I think they're waiting a little bit for that util to come up.
Every player on Mad Lions is watching a major choke point. Trick.
Oh,
Smoke gets pulled off of him. He does get the contest, but this is Disguise working in a lot of one-on-ones.
There you go. 2 contacts had. Gangsta's going to come out. This is working. 3 positions, 3 frags. Ainge is now the last one remaining on 1v3. Has the grab wall, takes down the first, needs a headshot onto Steel, but Steel takes it away instead. Diffuse, however, is going to go down.
Oh, he gets it! 0.24 seconds. Just barely Disguise are going to get that round, Cuss.
What a retake. I mean, it was expected to go down to the wire. They came from so far away.
One-on-one duels, and they win every single one of them, this guys. Back to back to back. They go with those one-on-one duels. And Mad Lions, I'm not going to say that was a round you have to win to stay in this map, but it was a big one. They're going to force back into this off of their full buy to try and make this round competitive. We're in a Stinger meta. We haven't hit the new patch with the nerf just yet. So they're going to try and put this into full swing. It's 4 Stingers and a Marshall, but there's no fast approach. It's a contestant set from Disguise towards mid, but it's only in the form of a single C's. You're playing with a turret and an alarm bot off of just Ziff.
If Disguise play the same way they did last round, they should peek onto Ainge back in their spawn, but the 3 players who would push up A main, they've already left. They're already making full rotations pretty much. There goes the contact, however, back over in short.
And the turret pulls Ziff over towards Art instead, where they're just kind of banking on this alarm bot. A really nice knife, though. I think that catches at least 3 players there. And that's starting to back Mad Lions over towards this A side. Ainge has been holding here for the entire round. They don't know what the positioning is, because last round it was 3 players got into Art. This time Steel is playing with a solo rifle. He has a star to work with.
Did they see him? Then now they saw him.
Oh, Steel!
There you go. Lines up the headshots. 2 was pretty much the best that he could hope for. But no, Ziff had such an important position, and he goes down to Zextro. Now it's Gangsta. A 1v3. Unless, of course, the KO can help with a flash, and indeed he does. What a flash! Trick is on site. Gangsta has isolated him, but now Will has finally made his way out. Haunt doesn't pick out anyone, but this is a very strong push from DSG. Both players remaining. Push out immediately.
HP is low, though, for Zextro, and they're really not in positions to fight together here.
He's just gonna go for the defuse with it, surely.
Exalt could Loki just take this. He could Loki just take this the whole way. It's gotta be an early swing. Zextro, damage has been done. He wins the first. Exalt with another. Zextro in a one-on-one. And 20 bullets left. You see the HP. You see the player. And Exalt again in a one-on-two. Is gonna pick up the round there for Disguise.
Sully, Mad Lions needed the pistol, sure. But the second round, they realize the pressure. They buy the Stingers.
Yeah, you force into that round. You have no money left over, and you're gonna give Disguise, I would say, a guaranteed 10. With definitely quotes around that. But this is risky business now here for Mad Lions, and they're forcing into it again. A second Stinger buyback, which this buy does allow them with the loss bonus to get a buy moving forward, but it is, again, heavy risk after heavy risk between Mad Lions.
Never having a full rifle round. Mad Lions, they don't want it easy. 3 players popping into A main.
Aggressive look here from Disguise, yeah. A flash, Haunt, and the gravel is going to give them that control just for the orb, and then they back away.
Steel taking on a lot of pressure, but again, so much utility is here. The controllers are here. You still have Zextro covering up short too. They have the alarm bot set for anyone that's lurking. Indeed, there's one person trying to do that. Trick might have spotted the alarm bot. The alarm bot didn't spot him. 1 minute and 5.
Disguise are so quick to realize what's happened here. And they've left the anchor of Clear over towards that B side, who that kid has been playing extremely well.
Oh, this position is so crazy. The first contact is going to come from the KO. And from the corner, will come Zextro. Exalt's going to get the first frag. 2 kills from Ziff. And that should already give DSG a strong chance of the rest of this round. 28 HP left for Will. Will needs headshots going forward, but it just won't happen. Like you said, free round back for DSG, but Mad Lions still tried to put up a fight. It was the Stingers.
It was a nice read, though, from Disguise to recognize that and not kind of get sucked into the idea that Stingers equal a fast play. They didn't overcommit on rotations. They didn't leave this mid position completely weak, and they still have the alarm bot towards B-Link, which I'm wondering if there's going to be an attempt from Mad Lions to put pressure on that B-Link and break that alarm bot, because there hasn't been anyone playing there for the past couple of rounds. Maybe they haven't realized that just yet, but it's been a weak spot here. A lot of ultimates starting to come forward. Will one up the showstopper. Zextro, same thing as well. Clear! It just catches one through the smoke with a spam.
We take those. It's now just going to be the 1v1 and B.
Oh,
and again, 3-man push in A main. Exactly, it's going to be the turret and potentially an instant swing from that, but Exalt's out in the open. The timing is crazy. Still 2 players here on A to hold.
And they're coming back to fight here as well. Steel was already holding towards A main, so he's going to come assist the fight as well now. A 3-on-3 on A and a 1-on-1 on B.
Oh, again, Clear
This
popping
kid
off.
is crazy.
If you thought he was good on Jet, on Viper, he's a living turret. Mad Lions have been completely isolated now. They're going to try to break back into spawn. This might be smart. Zip has the headshot angle, though. With the Sheriff, that could be very dangerous. But they instead, they clear out the contact. Now they're trying to go into A.
Look at the way the Disguise have adjusted to this. They realize they've got an art, so they take A main back in Gangsta. Not a lot of safe spots you can plan, because you know Zip was still in towards spawn, and you know there's still a contest. DSG Disguise are disgusting on this map.
My goodness. I mean, Mad Lions, for sure, the most impressive side to face Disguised on Pearl. If that doesn't say anything for you, I don't know what does. Mad Lions have gotten 5 rounds. It's the most impressive team on Pearl against DSG so far, and DSG just continue to win out these rounds methodically.
And this timeout is a massive one for Mad Lions. It's your last timeout and your last opportunity in this game to get a footing, and you have to win this round. Otherwise, you're playing 7 rounds straight, Gus, of just 0 mistakes, 0 flaws, and trying to push to OT. And this map, these next 2 rounds from Disguise, if they win it, decide your fate if you're 1-1, or if we're at least going to a third map. Not even at 1-1 just yet, or you're going 0-2 here in the group stages in the first 2 weeks.
Listen,
And
at
then-
least Disguised got the guard game out of the way.
Yeah, you still have M80 in the guard after this for Mad Lions. So there is still a lot of worries for this team. And Mark said it, you could possibly be going 0-4 if you don't make the necessary adjustments after this game to compete and then beat M80 in the guard.
Yeah, retroactively, we're going to say that the first 2 weeks were pivotal for the end of the season.
No, that's very fair to say. A lot rests on this next round. In Disguise, on Pearl, it hasn't been sunny for Mad Lions, and it's been a coast here for Disguise. Clear again with this guard and out towards long, and this time Mad Lions are playing a lot slower. Same thing with Disguise, not a major contest towards A main this time around.
With that information not taken, DSG, they've also shifted up. A double peek back over towards short instead. You already had Ziff playing deeper just in terms of a rotation, but this time they're going to play it more of an instant crossfire style, of an instant trade style.
There's a fade ult here from Gangsta to contest this A main area, or apologies, A art area. And even then, they're still going to go just for a big fight. They're going to try and split back in towards B-Link Mad Lions.
They have the ulti. Exalt could just have the null command ready if they actually go out.
Ridiculous from Clear.
And he has it. Null command shuts them down. They just run away.
And back over towards where that Nightfall still is in play. They're not out of this just yet, Mad Lions. You wanted to avoid the Nightfall. You wanted to avoid the KO ultimate. Well, now you're going to tire the one of them.
Oh, no. 2 players remaining. Ainge and Will have no other option other than to bum rush it down B. Here's the ulti. The showstopper doesn't catch. Exalted completely, and Clear does have the position onto Ainge. Ainge down to 95 HP. Is going to go down to 0 soon. 12 to 15. One more round for Disguised to take what is the most dominant win of this season so far.
And what a big win for Disguise as well.
Cool.
They've already, like you said, they've gotten the guard game out of the way. This is a team that have very clearly buckled down from last week and made major refinements. So, you know, I would say Disguise going up against Mad Lions, or apologies, going against M80 is probably one of the final major signed teams in their group. You put them on kind of a very similar level. Now, this last round is going to be a full buy from both these sides. Granted, a lot weaker from Mad Lions and a lot more aggressive from Disguise.
Oh my. Ooh. Zaxxar's going to get a big one, but again, it's only one person here on B to try to hold this down. Clear has to do a lot more, but with the Cosmic Divide, it has to be
I think it's maintain this control. This B-Link control is going to be critical.
This
Ziv has his
lockdown
ultimate,
position.
right? Exactly.
His lockdown position is insane.
And Zextro lost his with him going down. They trade the Nightfalls, and they will pop this lockdown here as well. That's
Yeah,
going
to be able to hold it?
everyone all the way. It covers both B-holes and the top of long.
Yep. This raise. Whoa, there's 2 people here on site. They're going to try to fight it. Ziff and Steel, however, take him down. 2v4. Grab will is used against, again, Cosmic Divide is still up. They have no chance, Mad Lions. Disguised in dominant fashion, take up the best win in VCT yet.
It has been an incredible 2-map series from Disguise. From start to finish, it was clean, it looked good. Disguise, whatever mistakes that Steel was talking about against Guard, simply not apparent here. Everything has been cleaned up. And I think for Mad Lions, there's not a lot you can take away from this game, unfortunately, besides the 0-2 start to Challengers. There's a lot to play here, and Mark, I want to get your thoughts on this one, because this series, it was really, really quick.
I mean, let's be real. We said it coming into this game. Maybe that performance against the Guard was actually good. I know that there was things that they could have done differently. They obviously could have found the win. But based on what we saw from the Guard this week, they are very clearly the best team currently playing in Challengers, just based on current results. So was it possible that Disguise was actually better than we anticipated, and they just played against one of the best teams currently playing in Challengers? I think